What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. This is another episode of Tuesday's Talk for your June 21st, 2022. I am your host, Phil, and of course, this is Outside the Brand, bringing you guys all the latest and greatest news in professional wrestling. Thank you so much for joining us right here on your Tuesday nights, wherever you may be. John Laurinaitis is as good as gone. He has officially been fired or, quote, put in administrative leave as head of talent relations. He's no longer under that role. And guys, who they put in his place might be even worse. Bruce Prichard is the interim head of talent relations. We also got some news on Sasha Banks, as we all know that there's been rumors running rampant about her possibly being released from the WWE, thanks to Raj Giri and his tweet from the Wrestling Inc. Website. There has been a statement that was supposed to be released on Sasha Banks and her official release from the company, but it has not shown face, so we have no idea where that is going to be taking place as of right now. But in other news, we also got some news on Booker T. Now, why is Booker T in the news just randomly? Yeah, that's because he body shamed Adam Cole and said that he needed to gain some weight in order to do anything in professional wrestling. He said that on his podcast a couple of days ago, and people did not take kindly to it. The likes of former AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page decided to step up on social media and put him in his place. So we will be going over all of that and much more here on Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. You guys can follow all of us on social media. All the TikTok links are down in the description below. You guys can go hit that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel as well, and turning on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. If you missed the Monday Night Raw review from last night, please go check it out. It was a very, very fun review. And you guys can go check out any of the other stuff that you might have missed, all on the homepage of the channel. And finally, before we get into everything, guys, before I introduce our guest, we got t-shirts on bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. You guys can go pick up this t-shirt today at bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. As you guys know, we updated our logo. This is our official new logo, and it is now officially on a t-shirt on bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. All right, let's get right into the news, guys. But first of all, Phil, how the hell are you, brother? This is a great time. We are finally able to do this, meeting face to face. This is a great time. How are you?
Yeah, this is an amazing time, and first of all, I just want to say thank you for getting me on Outside the Brand. I've never really done podcasting before, so this is an experience that I have for me, and yeah, all I can say is thank you.
I'm telling you right now, when Loft gets in here, he's going to be saying Phil and Phil. We're both probably going to be saying what, because that's both of our names. So listen,
I get. I've had that. That's been a problem since high school. Don't worry, I get that.
We'll figure this out. I'm the third Phil in the family, so it happens all the time. I don't know if you're a generation or whatever, like myself, I'm the third, but it happens all the time in my family. So we'll figure it out once Loft gets in here, which one he is going to be calling for. But yeah, he'll be joining us in just a quick second.
All right.
John Laurinaitis, he is officially gone from the head of talent relations position. Put in place is Bruce Prichard. Obviously, the Booker T situation with Adam Cole, we will be getting into that, and Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, we all knew that Sasha Banks, release story has been coming out all over the place. When you first heard of it, what were your initial thoughts? I mean, Sasha Banks, it's a huge name if WWE loses her, and she's going to make any women's division relevant, but she's just a huge name, and WWE should not be in the market of losing a big name like Sasha Banks.
You know what? Yeah, honestly, the first time I heard about like Sasha Banks and Naomi kind of walking out, it really was it was honestly that night on Raw when they had announced that the six pack challenge was going to happen, but then the random incoming news that Sasha Banks and Naomi had walked up to John Laurinaitis, put down their titles, and put down the SmackDown. I mean, the women's tag team championship, and then pretty much kind of said we're done, and then left. From what I do know, I mean, I remember that there were some problems with Sasha Banks and WWE in the past.
Yeah.
I just did not think that it would come up to really to up to this really to this status. I mean,
Right.
there was a lot of speculation coming through at the time, because this six pack challenge was to prepare for the Hell in a Cell premium live event in Chicago. It was like, I know there was a lot of speculation saying that like one of them there would probably be something in there where Sasha Banks and Naomi would have gone up against each other, and one would have to pin the other for the chance to face Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. To me, that was interesting, especially since both were currently signed to the SmackDown brand.
Right.
But really from everything else that I've heard, I've just tried to catch up with whatever, and the fact now that she truly has been released from WWE and is now free to whatever she wants to do now, it's quite shocking. I never really thought Sasha Banks would be gone from WWE as early as this. I could have seen her going, going a few more years, still being a dominant champion, but just this whole random thing that just all of a sudden led into a downward spiral of just complete chaos.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
I don't think anybody really thought it was ever going to get this far. Especially just, I mean, we've seen some Sasha Banks stuff before whenever she either didn't get her own way or just the company just didn't want to push the women's division in the way that she would have wanted it to go. I fully stood behind Sasha Banks and Naomi during the whole walkout, because if Sasha Banks or Naomi was supposed to pin Sasha Banks in that six pack challenge or whatever to get to Bianca or whatever for Hell in a Cell, they just didn't take kindly to that because we're the champions. We're not supposed to be doing this. And if anything, apparently reports were saying that they felt uncomfortable working with two others in the match. I didn't buy that for a second because, I mean, they worked with all those four ladies in the past, so I wouldn't expect anything less. But at the end of the day, Sasha, Naomi, they're going to be doing whatever they want to do within the confines of their own status within professional wrestling. If Sasha wants to wrestle, she is going to wrestle. If Naomi wants to continue staying in WWE, she can continue staying in WWE because of where her either family ties lie or just speaking on her own mind and her own agenda. Listen, Sasha
Exactly.
Banks, there is this smear campaign going on about her because apparently she forced Naomi to do this, all this kind of stuff, and I don't believe that either. There are two totally different women with two totally different mindsets, and they have two totally different aspects of the business. And at the end of the day, we'll see where things go. So we will get to that news story soon, as that'll be our second story for this extra. The first story that we're going to cover, though, is Bruce Prichard, John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis is no longer the head talent of relations, and now the interim is Bruce Prichard.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, kind of surprisingly, I actually did not know about about Bruce Prichard stepping in for John Laurinaitis until honestly maybe about 5 or 10 minutes ago. There's I subscribe on YouTube to a YouTube channel called WrestleLamia. They every day they cover a lot of the big news that happens within the confines of WWE and AEW. And yeah, I mean, I just heard about that. For me, thinking that it was Bruce Prichard taking over for Laurinaitis, I definitely was not surprised by that move. But I mean, then again, I guess when you look at things, there could have been somebody else that could have been chosen to take Mr. Laurinaitis' place, but I don't really know who. But I know there's probably a better pick that could have been pitched out there.
for sure. When it says, I'm going to get into the report in just a little bit, but Bruce Prichard now gaining even more power within the WWE as John Laurinaitis has now stepped out of the head talent of relations moniker, and now that is being presented to Bruce Prichard by Vince McMahon. WWE issued, according to Mike Johnson on PW Insider, they have issued a memo to talent this evening following Raw. So this was written on Monday. This evening following on Raw, announcing that Bruce Prichard is now the interim head talent of relations going forward. PWInsider.com has learned. WWE also informed talent that, quote, pending the conclusion of our board of directors' internal investigation, John Laurinaitis, who has not been on the road since the investigations was publicly revealed, has been placed on administrative leave. The memo did promise Prichard would provide a seamless transition within this new role. So Bruce Prichard, who was brought back to the company back in 2019 to specifically be a part of Vince McMahon's top executives, has now grown even more power and responsibility. I mean, Mike Johnson, he pretty much just nailed it right on the head. He was brought back in 2019 to be a part of Vince McMahon's team, and now Vince has just gave him even more power. It's Vince and Bruce. It's Vince and Bruce on the top of the totem pole. If you're not going to be able to see Vince, you're going to be able to see Bruce, but Bruce is going to have to run everything by Vince anyway because Vince is the runner of this company. Even with Stephanie as the CEO now, as interim CEO, I feel like that's only her by title. I mean, she's not really running anything right now. If anything that we saw on Monday Night Raw last night was Vince coming out doing the whole thing and all that, Vince is still pulling the strings back there. He's still the puppet master. Bruce is just one of the puppets.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing too with McMahon. Obviously, nobody was expecting him to come out on Monday Night Raw as much as we didn't expect him to come out on SmackDown. But with him doing this, like the first one, okay, yeah, we kind of got the heads up about it. We were not told that he was just going to show up on Raw, and then he just comes up and, all I can say is thank you to the WWE Universe. And remember, the week after this, the whole John Cena's returning. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, so why is his appearances starting to become, what's the word, a little more cryptic?
Yeah. These random appearances, especially with these announcements that we already knew, it just feels like he's trying to either just slap us in the face as fans or just acknowledging that he just does not care about these investigations and he's just going to be continued doing what he is going to be continued doing. until he legitimately has to step away.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I saw him, like, whether he was exiting the ropes or entering the ropes, you could kind of see he kind of had a bit of a falter in there too. So it's like, doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see where things go from there. Also, well, that is a little bit of what we are. That's all we really know about Bruce Prichard now stepping in as head of talent relations for John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis is pretty much good as gone. I mean, he pretty much got fired. This administrative leave, that's as good as fired to me. The administrative leave, that's just fancy talk for fire at this point. You know, if Bruce Prichard is now the head talent relations, it's going to be pretty hard to get what you want, especially with Bruce Prichard going right to Vince McMahon. So it's definitely an up and down type of situation.
Yes. Also, if there's one thing I can definitely say now that Bruce Prichard is now the interim head of talent relations, from a lot of things from which I've been seeing and where, you know, really just where all of WWE shows are going right now, like specifically NXT 2.0. Really, I forget quite exactly who stated it. It was either PW Insider or it was Meltzer, but some wrestling news has sort of been saying that with NXT, if they're basically gonna have you around for, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, and
yep.
You know, whether you, and then like after that 6 months, like those 6 months really decide your fate with the promotion. If you're doing well, they're going to keep you, and you know, it's going to be up and running. And of course, if the 6 months have gone by and you didn't really do that much, you're fired.
If you're not meeting up to their standards, but as a pro wrestler in the first 6 months of your career there in NXT 2.0, you're as good as gone. If you are and you're fine, you're obviously going to continue staying around. That was reported by Dave Meltzer, and that was pretty much the 6-month edict that Vince and Bruce put onto the NXT 2.0 roster, saying, "Listen, we're giving you 6 months. Figure this out. Figure out how you can get your character and all that stuff, and you're good to go." Because this is a developmental brand at the end of the day. That's what Vince and Bruce turned NXT Black and Gold into, as we all know, is NXT 2.0.
So then, if it is a development, I'm sorry. If this is a developmental, if NXT is meant to be the developmental program,
right?
Do they bring in wrestlers that are from the when they bring those from the main roster down? Like, I know there are certain ones they're just there for a couple episodes, and then of course, you know, they're back. You know, like AJ Styles, Natalya, Riddle, you know, etc. And now you have Apollo Crews. Like, it, of course,
Ziggler in the past, yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't know if they're just bringing in the higher up talent to get these the NXT wrestlers, give them that bit of a push to get up to the main roster, or just prove that they're the wrestler that we think they are, or is it just something? Is it just completely something else? That's what I'm curious.
At first, it was just for ratings, because the ratings were complete shit. Like, we were getting at least a little over 300,000 viewers a week. So they thought by bringing up main roster talent, saying, "Oh my gosh, Dolph Ziggler is going to be on NXT," it would help the ratings. Yeah, or AJ Styles, like let's say AJ Styles is going to be on NXT, it would help the ratings. It didn't really help all that much. It gained like maybe 50,000 viewers. But then they started bringing in guys like Dolph Ziggler, who won the NXT championship for like 2 weeks or whatever, to only bring it back to Braun Breaker to help get these talent over with the fans.
Yep.
It didn't really work out, though.
Yep. Ziggler losing at Stand and Deliver, making Braun Breaker the two-time NXT champion. But I believe, though, like, if I'm going to say in good things, I'm actually very impressed with the fact that NXT decided to bring Apollo Crews back into the NXT picture, because honestly, we have not seen him on Raw as of lately. Neither have we seen Commander Aziz. So for Apollo to come back, and of course, the pop he got was absolutely great, because I mean he was a phenomenal performer in NXT before he was brought up to the main roster. Yes, he did have those runs with the United States title and the Intercontinental title, but I mean, you kind of, they were really lackluster at best. And for him to drop his whole Nigerian Wakandan prince accent and kind of going back saying, I have unfinished business. There's so much I left on my plate that I didn't get to do when I was here. And the little vignettes they've been setting up, which kind of make him look like Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, no offense. But I think it's really setting Apollo up to really shine in NXT 2.0 rather than, anybody else that's done the same thing. So
I think it's definitely going to be something of a resurgence for his career. I mean, we all know that with NXT 2.0, it may be a developmental brand, but for somebody like an Apollo Crews, it can really help him get back to where he used to be.
Yes.
NXT, the normal NXT Black and Gold, when he was there, he was one of the greatest superstars that never even really won an NXT championship, let alone pretty much any championship within the company. That in mind, we did not really have the North American title during Black and Gold. It was only the NXT title.
Right.
And then obviously it transitioned to getting the North American Championship during the later times of Black and Gold, with obviously Adam Cole being the first champion and all that stuff. But that was when obviously Apollo was not in NXT anymore. This could be a real good resurgence for him. And like you said, dropping the whole Nigerian gimmick with Aziz not really being there anymore, it never really fit him to begin with. So getting this Nigerian character out of him and bringing back that real Apollo Crews, that former Yuhan Nation from the places that I used to know him from before WWE, is going to be a great thing for him. And I really want him to succeed. Hopefully with this NXT run, getting back to the main roster would be a little bit more seamless, and we can finally do something with him later in the future. Yeah.
Yep, most definitely.
I like the guy. I do. But we just got to see where that goes.
Yes.
Alrighty. So, we'll move on to the next story that we got in here. Once Love does get in here, I'll just inform him of everything that we covered so far. We are going to be talking about this Sasha Banks situation. And according to WrestlingNews.co, conflicting reports on Sasha Banks' legal agreement for her WWE release is not finalized. During his appearance on the TSN's Sunday night's main event, Dave Meltzer talked about the Sasha Banks rumors. Meltzer said that the last thing that he heard was that they were still in talks about her release, and it wouldn't shock him if she got her release this week. Now this was written today by Paul Davis of WrestlingNews.co. So this contradicts some previous reports stating that she has already been released as of last week. But either way, it looks like she won't be returning to the ring. Meltzer said, and I quote, "As far as I know, the only thing that I have been told is that they are negotiating it right now. I don't know that the negotiations are finalized. I know that it's been written in media reports, and that is about it. The last I asked, which would have been 2 days ago, it was not final, but it wouldn't shock me if it happened this week. That is how I was described to me. That is how it was described to me a couple of days ago. Where it is at this moment, I do not know. End quote. Meltzer said that he wouldn't be surprised if there was something included in the agreement to where both sides don't say anything negative about the other. Banks is still listed on WWE's.com roster page, and PW Insider noted that as of a couple of days ago, she was still listed internally on the roster. So, while it looks like she's done with the company, technically it appears that she is still under contract until the final agreement is signed, sealed, and delivered by both parties.
Okay.
There
That is definitely a lot to really take in.
Yes.
I was probably with a majority of the crowd where I thought Sasha Banks had now been she was basically almost blacklisted, like where you wouldn't find her on the roster page. You wouldn't find any of her merchandise, like all that. I was probably one of those people, but I mean, this new information being brought to me that she is still possibly under contract. I don't know how long she is still under contract for, but if they're able to work things out, great for the major Sasha Banks fans, and for really all WWE fans worldwide. It's a win. She is one of the WWE's biggest draws when it comes to the women's division. I mean, her cousin Snoop Dogg is even in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, celebrity edition. But I mean, digressing from that, again, she has grown to become one of the major foundations of women's wrestling with WWE. Obviously she was able to set up. She was one of the four horsewomen of NXT, the four pillars that were able to lay the foundation for the women's for basically WWE's women's evolution of wrestling in general. The Evolution Evolution pay-per-view we got in 2018, as well as a lot of memorable matches, a lot of great title wins, as Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, and a Women's Tag Team Champion. She is going to be somebody I believe will be, if she does not return, she will be sorely missed and never forgotten. And wherever she goes with her future, whether it is in AEW, whether it is in Impact, or anywhere else in the indie circuit, or possibly even in Hollywood, all I can say is I wish her nothing but the best. And I mean, go slay 'em, boss.
Exactly. I mean, you said everything that I was probably going to say and more. I mean, wherever she lands within either the landscape of professional wrestling, or she goes to Hollywood, like you said, with either the Mandalorian stuff or anything of that nature, she can do anything, and she's going to be a star regardless. Whether that is in AEW, whether that is in Impact, hell, even going back to Japan and doing something with Stardom, she is going to be making any of those women's divisions that much greater. And with the Warriors being involved now, I highly doubt there's going to be a 90-day no compete or any type of compete clause. mainly because the lawyers are involved, and if she does not want a compete clause within this release contract of hers or anything like that, she will not have a 90-day no compete, or she will not have a compete in general. With all
Okay.
that being said, however, we will see where that goes. I mean, she's going to be a star regardless, so we'll see where things go there. But if I did have to pick, man, I'm glad I can say this without Loft being here. If there was any division that I would really want to see her succeed in or just be a part of, it would be AEW. AEW has so many great talent over there. Like, she wants to work with Serena Deebs, and she has said that on many occasions. Britt Baker, I mean, that's an easy choice right there. Obvious, Jade Cargill. There are so many women on that division that she can really help elevate. Hell, even Ember Moon with Athena. Like that, it's such a great division over there, and bringing Sasha Banks would just only elevate that to the highest of standards. Not saying that Impact's division is like trash or anything. Impact has some great women over there.
Absolutely.
Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha Steeles,
Tara Valkyrie, Rosemary.
There's a ton of great women over there in Impact, and I just watched their Slammiversary on I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday,
I did
yeah.
Too. I did too.
And it was a great show.
Yep. I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I did watch. I know certain parts of Slammiversary, and I was able to catch like a couple of the full matches. And I mean, either way, I was thoroughly impressed. And one thing I definitely want to thank WWE for Slammiversary was allowing AJ Styles to sit down and speak about it. Like, I think that was one of the best. That was something that, that's like going to be a once in a lifetime thing. AJ Styles was like one of the one of the wrestlers that set the foundation for how big TNA at the time was going to be, especially with the X division, Ultimate X division. I mean, heck, he was in the first Ultimate X match with Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel, and Samoa Joe. I mean,
yeah.
Like it was great to hear from him, and have him say his piece about Impact Wrestling, and they had a really good night. I will not deny that.
Yeah, no, it was a great night. I was shocked that they allowed AJ Styles to do that, but I was very proud of WWE for allowing him to do that because, like you said, AJ Styles is one of the staples of Impact / TNA at the time, and they really proved to me that even though he's a WWE guy now. Impact has a special place in his heart, and we had to allow him to do this. So it was a great time just seeing AJ in that video package, and it was definitely something to see for sure. But yeah, I mean, Sasha Banks, she is no longer. She's still under contract with the company, but as of right now, with the legal binding and everything, the legal document, as long as it's going to be both signed by WWE as well as Mercedes herself. Once that does eventually happens and the final agreement is signed, sealed, and delivered, she will not be a part of the WWE moving forward. I do believe she is officially done with the company. It just has to be on their terms. When WWE wants to sign it, they're going to sign it. I think Sasha Banks' name is already pretty much on that piece of paper. They're just waiting for WWE at this point.
Yep, I can see that.
We'll see where things go from there, though. And then finally, we got this Booker T situation. Booker T. It never surprises me that he's in the news. Booker T says he likes Adam Cole, but blames the internet for using his words as clickbait. Booker T has clarified his comments regarding Adam Cole after receiving some backlash. As previously reported, the former WWE World Champion said on his Hall of Fame podcast, quote, "We gotta get more weight on Adam Cole," end quote. He added that he thinks that Cole's frame was a factor behind the injuries of his career. Hangman Adam Page recently ripped him on his take, and we will get to what Hangman said in just a quick second. On the latest edition of his podcast, Booker T addressed the backlash and tried to clarify what he meant. Quote, "I like Adam Cole. I think it would be too far to say that we're friends, but I am a fan of Adam Cole. I think people want to make it seem that I'm hating on an AEW guy, but I'm not. If I didn't like Adam Cole, I wouldn't be saying that we need to get some more muscle on him. I'd be saying a whole lot worse than that. As opposed to trying to advocate how we could make Adam Cole look better, I think I would be saying a whole lot worse if I was trying to tear Adam Cole down." That's what the internet does, man. They take anything that I say and try to make it clickbait, like I criticized Adam Cole.
Okay, so this is complete news for me. I did not know that this even actually happened.
Me neither.
But
Until I found it today.
I mean, really, I look at this. I don't really think Adam Cole really needs to like gain much like muscle or like just get more body mass or whatever. I mean, he's doing what for what he's doing right now. I mean, he's doing very well, and I say that wholeheartedly. From the time that he was in, when he joined NXT, up to him joining AEW, and where he is presently, he has been he really has been. He has been he's really been a trailblazer in every meaning of the word. Like when you think of Adam Cole, you like the one thing that comes to the one word that comes to mind when I think of Adam Cole, I think success. He has held the NXT championship longer than any other wrestler in NXT history. He helped form one of the most successful stables in NXT, if not WWE history, with the Undisputed Era. Himself being NXT champion, Roderick Strong becoming the North American champion, and Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly becoming NXT Tag Team champions, making them the Undisputed Elite, and really just becoming the ultimate juggernaut of the brand. And of course, what his time, when his contract was about to go up, they wrote him off after he had kayfabe sustained an ankle injury during his 2 out of 3 falls match with Kyle O'Reilly, with the whole disbandment of the Undisputed Era quite a few years ago. And then, of course, once he made his way to AEW, as soon as the lights went out and we heard that, it's all about that boom, automatically people, I think everywhere, lost their minds.
Yes.
Never,
Yes.
like, we know that he's had history in Ring of Honor. He's had history in New Japan with the Bullet Club, being a leader of the Bullet Club, and and holding many championships across everywhere else on a lot of other areas. I guess one other one I can shout out is Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, another big one he was a part of. Like, really, Adam Cole, the way that he's been, I guess if I'm gonna shorten things up, Adam Cole has been everything he's been doing from where he was to NXT to where he is presently in AEW. I don't think you need to change a single thing about him. Adam Cole, baby, it's always going to be Adam Cole, baby, at the end of the day, and that, I mean, no pun intended, is undisputed.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm looking at. It says, listen, he looked the exact same way that he does right now on AEW TV, like he did in NXT.
Exactly.
He didn't need to gain weight in NXT. He didn't need to gain weight to get up to the main roster. He didn't need to put more muscle or gain muscle mass on NXT. So why should he have to do it here in AEW?
I don't see
what he's been doing right now. He's been great, and he's gonna carry AEW into the next 3, 4, 5 years within the company. Like, he's been great. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And you said he's probably going to be carrying AEW into the next 3, 4, 5 years. Again, we all know that AEW is still a very young wrestling promotion at the end of the day. So, and I can like you, I can see Adam Cole like he could be carrying the division on his back as the AEW World Champion. Like, he is destined to be a future AEW World Champion, yes, regardless about what you think about him. But Booker T saying he needs to gain muscle, I think that's just him from his perspective, because with WWE, Vince likes his big muscular young men that are able to do amazing things all by themselves. And I think he's still smoking that Vince McMahon pack right now.
Here's the thing.
I know that sounded weird.
Man.
Yeah,
he's a
right now he's
he's a part of WWE. So he's gonna do anything that he can in order to make WWE seem like the better product or seem like the better company. And if he's gonna do that on his podcast, he's gonna do it there.
I know somewhere in the future I'm gonna tell me he did not just say that. And it's like, well, yes, I did, Booker. I'm sorry. I know. It's like I know, but like,
you say a lot worse shit on here, bro, so you're fine.
Yeah, he won't go. Yeah, Booker's not gonna come after me. I'm from Chicago. He's from Houston. Like, leave me alone.
We say a lot worse shit on here, to be completely honest.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, let's not also take into account what Adam Page said as well. So Booker T, after his comments, Hangman Adam Page took it to social media and he ripped Booker T a new one for his comments about Adam Cole. So Booker T received some backlash, as we all know, from his comments about AEW's Adam Cole. While speaking to on his Hall of Fame podcast recently, the WWE heavyweight champion, former, said that we got to get some more muscle on more weight on Adam Cole because he thinks that Cole's frame was a factor of his injuries throughout his career. Former AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page took to Twitter to rip Booker T for his comments on what he said. Quote, and I'll actually show you guys this the tweet right here because I do have it pulled up for you guys to witness. Right here. I just hope that when I am old and retired, I don't lower myself to some shit ass podcast where I trash the younger generation that's just chasing the same fortune wrestling has afforded me. End quote.
Provided the clap back.
Yes. So he said all of this, and you know, I mean, there's that right there. So after winning the Owen Hart Foundation tournament at Double or Nothing, AEW has kept Cole on television, but hasn't been booking him in matches to allow him to heal up from his injuries. As of this writing, neither Cole or Page have matches booked for Sunday's AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door pay-per-view event, but I do believe they will be booked on the card. I mean, Hangman Adam Page, he wants Okada. So does but he wasn't going to get Okada. He's not going to get Okada most likely because he wanted that not AEW world title, the New Japan world title. Yeah, the IWGP world title. So it looks like he might be going up against Jay White, or Adam Cole might be thrown into the mix as well, and we could possibly be getting a triple threat. But Hangman Adam Page took to Twitter to pretty much help a good friend and Adam Cole out. At the end of the day, I respect for what Adam Page did. There is nothing good about body shaming anybody, regardless of wherever you have come from, WWE, AEW, what have you. Body shaming is not a good thing, and Adam Cole just tried to put Booker in his place, and that is exactly what he did.
I absolutely agree. As for the IWGP, from what I do remember from AEW Dynamite as of last week, Jay when the Switchblade did make his appearance known. I mean, he let Adam Page know that in New Japan he was 2-0 to the Switchblade, and I believe he had specifically stated that he was not gonna have Adam Page he was not going to let Adam Page take him off of the title. And though Adam Cole's hyping it up, Undisputed Elite versus Bullet Club, baby. And Jay White said to Adam Cole, it's not going to be you either. So I think we will find out either tomorrow or on Rampage whom Jay White will be defending his IWGP title against. I am not quite sure who it's going to be exactly, but I do think that whoever it is, I'm pretty sure they are going to put on quite the performance. And as you know, I will be at Forbidden Door this Sunday, and
that's so awesome.
next. I'm not saying that to rub it in your face, as you know.
No.
But I will be providing my. I mean, if you decide to have me here in the podcast again next week, I will. I can provide some firsthand. Firsthand. Info on a lot of the stuff that happened, and I can just be here as the info source. I will be posting a lot of the stuff I see at Forbidden Door on TikTok, and on my other social medias as well. So just in the future.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, the pay-per-view, we all know, is obviously we're going to be doing our preview and predictions for the show on the day before the event. We're going to be doing our full show review most likely on that next Tuesday's talk, honestly, because it's going to be a long night, just like Double or Nothing was.
Yes, it is.
So if you want to come on for the Tuesday's talk, because you're gonna be there, that would be absolutely fantastic. But from what we are getting here, Loft, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. This is the other Phil on the podcast. So listen, we're gonna have to figure this out right now because both of our names are Phil. So I mean, if you're gonna address us,
okay, Phil. Oh, damn. All right. Red shirt Phil. You're Phil 1.
Okay.
The other Phil's Phil 2. That's what we're doing.
All right, cool.
Got it, Chief.
So, I mean, we pretty much covered all the stories you just got into here, but we'll just go over some things again. Bruce Prichard is now the interim head of talent relations, and John Laurinaitis has officially been relieved of his duties. He has officially been fired or on administrative leave. He's pretty much been fired from the company. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, they took care of somebody else. They released somebody else, but they possibly could have gotten in the interim much worse. And Bruce.
I feel they should have fired. Excuse me. I feel they should have fired Bruce as well because he's not helping anything at all. If you're going to fire people, you might as well just drain the whole swamp. So hopefully he's next up and leaving. It doesn't really matter until all this stuff is over with. This is it all just they're just doing stuff to make it look better. I want to see. I really don't care about the backstage and the numbers stuff. I'm worried about creative. You know what I'm saying? So until they give me some stuff about creative changing, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So
I forgot to even read a part of what I was going to bring up for that story as well. Apparently, there's been some talents reacting to this whole Bruce Prichard and Johnny Ace being tossed out of the whole thing. So Bruce Prichard is in. John Laurinaitis is now out of the head of the talent relations within the WWE. Fightful can confirm that WWE talent were notified of this change, with John Laurinaitis on the administrative leave from his roles, and Bruce Prichard now in the spot on the interim basis. The unanimous belief among those within the company we spoke to was that Johnny was as good as gone, with several going as far as to celebrate his impending departure. However, the monkey's paw put on a finger down for some, as now one of the heads of creative is also charged with talent relations. Former and present talent alike claimed in one saying Vince only knows 3 people, end quote, as a joking matter to John Laurinaitis and Bruce Prichard being the ones tasked with these roles. Another said that they'd had multiple texts from talent stating that there is a concern about Bruce handling both roles, because now if you want time off, you have to ask the person who effectively is your filter between creative and Vince McMahon. Laurinaitis was not at Raw last night, and several talent are working under the assumption they'd likely never have to do business with him ever again. Vince himself was said to be in a good mood again last night, much like he was on Friday Night SmackDown. The fact that somebody was saying that Vince pretty much only knows 3 people is very telling to what the backstage mindset is probably at right now. Vince, Bruce, and Johnny. Those are the 3 stooges that we all knew was pretty much the 3 main people within the company, and now one of them's out. It's Vince and Bruce at the top of the totem pole, like I said to Phil too earlier, Law. And yeah, now it's even more prominent now that Vince and Bruce are at that top.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this story ends. I just need everyone who is back there as far as creative goes to get released. I don't care about all this other stuff, if I'm being completely honest. It doesn't even matter at this point.
A person that you should be caring about, though, is Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks We read earlier on in the podcast that there is a legal document that is slating to be signed by both parties of WWE and Sasha Banks. There is a legal document stating that she is most likely going to be released within the company, and that was made up by her lawyers. It is just waiting to be signed by both parties. We don't know if it includes a compete clause or not, but knowing that lawyers are involved, I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't have any compete clause because Sasha wants to do what she wants to do at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure Sasha's name is already on that paper. Mercedes already signed that paper. She's just waiting for WWE to do it at this point. Now, with this almost being finalized, what's next?
I don't know. I have no idea. Whatever she wants to do, I can't. I've speculated enough about what I want her to do, so now it's more just about what she wants to do, and then whatever she does, I try my best to support her.
I mean, I completely agree with you on that, Loft. Like that was something I had said earlier. Whether she still decides to stay or she decides to go, either way, she is still going to be forever loved. I've said as one of the 4 horsewomen to push the women's evolution in women's wrestling, being a multiple time champion on Raw, SmackDown, and a women's tag team champion. She's also been one of the biggest money draws when it comes to WWE's female division. And she's just been a character that has just been loved and sometimes hated by millions and millions of people worldwide. So all I can say is whether she goes to AEW, Impact, another indie circuit, or even decides to go to Hollywood, like when she did her piece in The Mandalorian, at the end of the day, it all depends on her, and whatever she does, I will support her 100%. But as far as WWE, she will forever be the boss, the standard, the blueprint. Bam. I don't know.
Nothing else to be said there, man. I mean, it's 100% factual information that you're saying, and wherever she goes, I know I'm gonna follow. I mean, from what you're saying, you're gonna follow. Loth, you've been loving this woman for ages, so I know you're following wherever she goes to.
Yeah, man. I know she'll be successful anywhere, so.
Especially when she changed her hair from purple to blue.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I would hate to see her show up on Dynamite one random freaking day, I'll cheer for her.
Come on, you can get Jade Cargill with her, bro.
No, I don't. No, I don't want that.
I feel like that's the easiest team, man.
It's pretty much the easiest route to go about. But at the end of the day, listen, whether it happens or whether it doesn't, we're just gonna follow her wherever she goes. The last story that we kind of covered before you just came in was Booker T. Booker T was in the news again, and he body shamed Adam Cole.
Yeah, I heard about that. I definitely heard about that one.
Yeah, and then Adam Page providing the amazing clapback.
Yes. So pretty much what he was saying on his Hall of Fame podcast was that Adam Cole needs to gain more weight or gain more muscle mass because he thought that his frame of stature was the reasons for his injuries in the past. You watched NXT during the tail end of Black and Gold, and you're still watching NXT 2.0 now. Not that 2.0 really matters, but he was kind of in it for a little bit until he kind of stepped away. Based on what you saw from NXT, from Adam Cole and NXT now off, to what you're seeing in AEW from when you are watching, Has there been any type of body transformation from Adam Cole whatsoever? Because I have seen nothing. He looks the exact same to me.
I ain't gonna cap. I haven't noticed the difference in Adam Cole's body because I just haven't looked at Adam Cole's body like that.
Well,
That's exactly what I said. From seeing
yeah.
Adam Cole grow from where he is in NXT, being the NXT champion, headlining one of the greatest stables in WWE history in the Undisputed Era, becoming a North American champion. He did everything he could do in NXT, and when he made that little transition over to AEW, he just took all that. He took all that swagger. He took all that ruthlessness. He took everything he learned in NXT with him to AEW and really kind of made himself into a bit of a bigger star than maybe he was in NXT. Like, he's still very successful as he was then, and like I've told who you are calling Phil 1, I believe that Adam Cole can carry AEW 3 years, 4 years, even 5 years from now, and within that timeline he will undoubtedly become AEW World Champion.
I mean, I don't know. I think I don't know if I believe in him more in AEW than I do when he was on NXT. I think on NXT he just gave me more of like a star energy than AEW. To me, he's one of the people that just falls into the shuffle there. They're trying to get him out of it by having him win tournaments and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't see much of an upgrade from his NXT persona.
I see.
I can see where you're coming from with that, but Adam Page, though, your boy, your man, he likes that Adam. This Adam clapped back to Booker T on Twitter, and he said, and I quote, once I bring it up here, "I just hope that when I am old and retired, I do not lower myself to some shit-ass podcast where I trash the younger generation that's just chasing the same fortune wrestling has afforded me."
Dang, Eminem just roasted Ja Rule again.
Listen, at the end of the day, love, no matter what type of profession you are in, you're not you just don't body shame people. I've been very fortunate enough to be raised by a very good family to pretty much say, listen, if you're not going to listen, you just have to respect people at the end of the day. And listen, whether Booker T tried to do something to make it seem like, oh my gosh, WWE, AEW, whatever, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You don't body shame for somebody like that, saying that they need more weight, saying that they need more muscle mass. Hangman Adam Page is just doing something for a friend of his in Adam Cole. Booker T just got put in his place.
No, can you dig that, sucker?
There you go.
You know something crazy?
Hmm?
I thought about something that happened today. A retired basketball player died today. He was like 25.
Oh shoot!
And
25?
Yeah, he
That's 1 year old. That's so young, bro. That's 1 year old.
After he left the league, he got overweight and stuff, or something happened. Something happened in his life to where he gained a lot of weight. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah.
He definitely was heavier than the way he was in the league. And when it happened, I remember when this happened, it had to be a year or two ago. A photo of him surfaced on Twitter, and everyone was making fun of him. And Trailblazers player Damian Lillard put a whole caption under the picture, "Don't make fun of people" and stuff like that, because you never know what they're going through, stuff like that. And apparently whatever happened to him, it ended up killing him today. So it was weird that like that was the first thing I read about someone like this morning, just talking about like body shaming and stuff like that, and how they were running him through the ground for something he probably even couldn't control, and he definitely died early this morning. So it's just
holy. That's 1 year older than me, bro. That's so sad. That's oh man. Well, rest in peace to him, and condolences
and
to his
then
family for sure.
there was also, and then what was it? There was also news that former WWE ref Tim White also just passed away.
Yeah, Tim White, he recently passed, and they did that little the graphic they usually do for former wrestlers or talent or anything like that passed away.
They showed that
graphic, and they did that. So I mean, listen, we're losing people left and right, and at the end of the day, Booker, this was not the best move, my man. Listen, you usually open your mouth when it comes to these things, and then people come back at you for doing all this stuff. Adam Page was just doing something for his good friend and Adam Cole. Now, Loft, Phil, we're getting Dynamite tomorrow, right? And like you said, Hangman, Adam Cole, they're most likely going to be a part of this world title picture for New Japan in some way, shape, or form. This is the final show before.
It's the go home show.
Yeah, this is the final show before Forbidden Door, the go home show. And
and I mean, the card is looking stacked.
Yes, we got some great stuff on the card. I didn't expect some matches to be on there. I really want Bryan Danielson to be a part of that, but he has some things to address on.
Recently, that is very true. I heard something from shout out to Bryson from TikTok. He was saying that he heard news that there might be a match booked between Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr.
Well, if we get that, that's going to have to be
that's going to be big. And I mean, not to mention what we're already getting. Like, we're already getting Jon Moxley. Like, we're getting Unscripted Violence versus New Japan's Ace for the interim AEW championship. We're getting Will Ospreay versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy for the IWGP US championship. Like, we're getting some pretty good things here. Oh, not to mention that we will be crowning our very first AEW All Atlantic champion in the Fatal 4-Way coming up as well, which so far has included the likes of Miro, the Bastard Pack, and whoever wins between Penta Oscuro and Malachi Black, as well as one of two wrestlers from New Japan who will be filling that fourth spot for the Fatal 4-Way match for that new belt.
Did that I don't think that New Japan spot was filled yet, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The New Japan spot has not been filled yet. I do not know which wrestlers will be competing to advance to Forbidden Door, but either way, I don't know how this All Atlantic Championship is going to go farther in AEW's future as of right now. But they are definitely making it interesting with this inaugural run. Let me say that.
Actually, I just actually looked this up, and it is actually filled up already. So the final spot will be taking place tomorrow, and it's Tomohiro Ishii that is a part of that Fatal 4-Way.
Oh,
so that's gonna be
Tomohiro Ishii. I was hearing that Tomohiro Ishii might be filling that New Japan spot, and you know what? Tomohiro Ishii deserves it after getting like wrecked by Adam Cole for the qualification matches for the Owen Hart tournament.
Yeah. So that's gonna be great, and we will have Penta. Well, not Penta.
Penta Oscuro and or Malachi Black.
They'll be filling up that final spot.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Malachi Black because, I'm pretty sure because PAC took out a House of Black member, and I'm pretty sure they're going to want at least one House of Black member in this run. So I kind of see Penta Oscuro taking this loss for the Death Triangle, so that both stables are even Steven.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Listen, AEW, New Japan. We don't really get to see New Japan all that often here in the States, but this pay-per-view, it's looking pretty damn good, man. And I know we're going to be doing some stuff here on OTB for it, but what are your just initial thoughts on how everything's going down? I mean, I know you're not too big of a fan of AEW, but this is looking like a great card.
I'm definitely going to watch the show, I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Some of the matches look interesting. Some of them I really don't care about. I'm heartbroken that Bryan Danielson most likely won't be wrestling because I really wanted to see him wrestle.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Hopefully they do some surprise stuff that I'm not really expecting, so that will get me a little bit more enticed to watch it. But I'll definitely see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Again, Jay White will have to find his opponent soon. He might find it tomorrow, since he said neither Adam Page nor Adam Cole will be the one challenging him for his IWGP title. And also, I almost forgot to say this. Thunder Rosa will be defending her AEW Women's Championship at Forbidden Door against one of my favorites, Toni Storm.
That's going to be a great match. I
am excited for that like crazy, since little story for me. When I went to a WWE live event in Orlando, I actually kind of like met Toni Storm because I got like ringside seats. It was a triple threat between Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Toni Storm for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Obviously, Charlotte won, but I was actually able to talk to Toni a little bit. I got a picture with her, all that. And as much as I do like Thunder Rosa, and I know that her run right now as women's champion has been kind of lackluster at best, I feel like Thunder Rosa is going to win, but Tony's got my back.
Listen, and here he is. He's getting to watch a Charlotte, Sasha, and Toni match. We didn't get anything like that on the main roster. Come on now, what the hell? We should be getting that on the main show.
I get to see that.
Yeah, the crazy thing was though, the crazy thing about me meeting Toni Storm that night was like 2 or 3 days later, she was able to get her release from WWE, and I was like heartbroken. I'm just like, wait a minute, I just met you and now you left me? Like my heart is bleeding. Which is why when she
walked out on the company. Oh my god.
Yeah, she walked out on me. But then when I saw her in AEW, I'm like, my baby's back.
That's crazy. Wow. 2 or 3 days.
I'm just happy to see my baby back.
That's pain right there.
That's
the pain is real.
Well, here's the thing. At least you got your picture, and at least you got to chat with her before AEW came along. So
she is a absolute gem. I mean,
yeah. I listened to her. I listened to her podcast with Renee Paquette on sessions. I believe she just calls it now. She used to call it oral sessions, but now she calls it
Yeah,
sessions.
now it's just the sessions. I noticed that.
I listened to that podcast with her. It's a great listen if you haven't heard it already. She talks about her release and how AEW came along and all that stuff. The sessions with Renee was great. She also talks about her relationship with Juice Robinson and all that stuff. It's a great listen. But Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, it's going to be a great match for the AEW Women's World Title. Like you said, Thunder Rosa's championship reign has not been the best, and that's not really all her fault, mainly because of the creative that's been going on with the AEW Women's Division as of late. Loff and I have spoke about that ad nauseum a ton of times on this podcast. Loff, you can attest to yourself too that this women's division needs some work, and hopefully this is going to be a catalyst to that.
Yep. And I'm thinking of even though like they had just signed Athena and all that, I do see Athena making a good impact. It's like, I know she just came in, she just became, she just came into the company like 3 weeks ago, whatever. But I can see her definitely shaking things up. Will she be the one that beats Jade Cargill's undefeated streak? I don't know. It's a good possibility, but I mean, I'm just gonna sit back and see how things go. I don't even know if Jade Cargill is going to be putting her TBS championship up for Forbidden Door yet. If she is, okay, that's interesting. If not, okay, whatever.
I think that's gonna be more for Battle of the Belts, but
Battle of the Belts 3, like we need it.
Yeah, and that's a whole other different issue. But Loff, Forbidden Door, it looks pretty good from what we're getting. We have 6 matches on the card, which isn't usually all that much usually for an AEW pay-per-view. That's kind of like really less. Last time we got like 14 matches, so having only 6 this time around, it's going to be a little bit of a different feel.
That's great. I don't want to watch 27 matches. That's great. I really don't.
Yeah, no, Double or Nothing. If I look back, Double or Nothing, including the pre-show, had 13 matches, so it's not going to be like a 5-hour pay-per-view like it was. That is
true, and that was true, and the pre-show or the buy-in match was Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling.
Oh, trust me, we know. Loff and I love Hookhausen over here.
Yes, we love Hookhausen. We all do. We all love Hookhausen. Very nice.
Oh my gosh, he does the Danhausen thing.
I know it's kind of scary.
He does the Danhausen voice. It's freaking sick. All right, guys. That's pretty much what we have for you guys here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed what you heard. We will be doing our AEW Dynamite post show on the Outside the Brand channel tomorrow night on episode 203. We will not be having a show on Thursday because you guys know that is our day off. And then Friday for Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage, which is the final show before the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which takes place on the 26th, which is a Sunday. God dang it, it's a Sunday. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the review is going to be on Tuesday's talk, mainly because listen, there's 6 matches, but it still could be going long because it is AEW. AEW, you got to get back to your Saturday's pay-per-view, man. I mean, those were the freaking days. At least Money in the Bank though, that's a Saturday. That's going to be good. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us right here on the podcast. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. I feel so weird saying that. I'm Phil. I should not be saying that to myself, but it's you.
Phil and Phil again.
It's the Phil on Phil crime over here. But thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to talk to you, my man, and we will definitely be seeing you in the near future. Have fun at Forbidden Door, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It definitely will be. I will. I will share some of my experiences. Again, most of it will be done through my TikTok, but again, you can find me pretty much everywhere. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, under my name, Phil the Future. My Snapchat's a little different. I'll post that. I'll post that up sometime later on. But yeah, I will give you some firsthand experience, and I can't wait. I'm I'm just excited.
It's going to be a great time, man. You guys can go follow Phil in the description down below. You guys can find his TikTok and everything that you will need to contact him over there on his TikTok page. He does some great content over there. Thank you again so much, Phil, for joining us here on Outside the Brand.
My pleasure.
All right, guys, we will talk to you guys very soon. Loft, do you have anything else to say before we get the hell out of here? Other than, well, no, you can say your whole drinking water bit and socks thing if you want, right?
Oh yeah, make sure y'all drinking your water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put your socks on before you go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow morning before you go and touch your phone, go outside and just like sit there for a little bit and make you feel better. I promise. Just sit out there, breathe in, breathe out, and make you feel a lot better before you go on your daily business, whatever y'all be doing, work, school, whatever. And yeah, tell your auntie stop calling me. I don't want to go on a date with her. Thanks. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
And always and forever, Jeff Hardy will be Loft's dad.
Forever.
There you go. Where's your finger guns? Where's your finger guns, Loft? Come on, show them at it. Yeah, buddy. All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Have a good rest of the night and stay safe.